use this word Muslim extremism as a kind of euphemism. Extremism, it's a misstatement, because extremism suggests that there's only a tiny percentage of people who would subscribe to these views. And that on virtually no question do you ever get a tiny percentage. So it can be the most extreme question. Do you want thieves to have their hands and feet cut off? Do you want people killed for adultery? Whatever the question is, you're never getting 3% or 5%, with the possible exception of some of the former Soviet states that have a Muslim population. You are not getting, when you ask these questions in Egypt and Sudan and Nigeria, and you can't even ask them in Saudi Arabia, but Saudi Arabia, if you could, Iran, Iraq, when you ask these questions, you're getting even Turkey, right? Turkey, the secular, the poster boy for the success of secular Islam, you get percentages that are 30%, 40%, 60%. A group like ISIS or Al-Qaeda is living in such a way that it is a kind of paint-by-numbers approach to the Quran and the Hadith and the example of the Prophet. It's not, this is a very straightforward, very plausible, very literal implementation of what is recommended there. You smite the necks of the infidels wherever you find them. You can take sex slaves. I mean, this is all stuff that Muhammad did. This is all stuff this is not stuff that the Buddha did. It's stuff that Muhammad did, right? So this is my claim. If we found a totally isolated people on a desert island and we gave them the canon of Islam, the Quran, the Hadith, the biography of Muhammad, and said, here, this is all you need to know, okay? Live by these principles. And then we came back in 1,000 years and they were living like ISIS. There would be not much basis for surprise. People love the punchline, which is, this has nothing to do with religion. And this is the thing I keep running into, that people either don't believe or they don't want to believe that anyone ever really believes what they say they believe here. So that no one really thinks they're going to get virgins. No one's really expecting to get to paradise. No one, when the jihadist says we love death more than the infidel loves life, that's just propaganda, right? And no amount of people blowing themselves up will convince the average secular liberal that these people really mean what they say. If you're always going to look behind someone's religious claim to find the political claim, or the economic claim, or the psychopathological claim, as you just did, you'll never stop at the religious claim. You'll always look for something deeper. But no one ever does the opposite. No one ever finds someone who's making a very strong political claim for their motives, and then looks for the religious claim beneath it. You know, so if my neighbor, goes and kills someone, and he's asked why he did it, and he says, well, listen, I wanted his stuff. You know, I saw his great car and all his stereo equipment. I wanted it. I didn't want to leave a living witness, right? So I just did it, right? No one's gonna doubt his motive. He said something perfectly sensible, right? So this was a straightforward claim of a murderous intent, right? And it made sense. Or if someone blows himself up or does something outrageous, or attempts to blow himself up, and you ask why, and he says, well, I was just so hopeless. You know, they had stolen my family's land. I saw no way out. I saw no way forward. I had nothing to live for. I just was filled with hatred for these people who had mistreated me and my family this way, so I behaved this way, right? No one is going to look at that and say, oh, no, that can't be the reason why he did that. There's no way. Why would you? But when someone says, I wanted to get into paradise, right? I want the 72 virgins. I believe all this stuff. Someone like Robert Pape says, that's never the reason.